Okay. Thank you, Carlos. Well, basically, to start, this is like for educational purposes. You know, I'm doing an assignment. I'm taking BADM 3111. It's called like a business professional, and it's just for an assignment. Talks about like interviewing a business professional like such as yourself. And then yeah, I would like to thank you for accepting my invitation on that. I just like want you to tell like to the future students, like what do you do, like what is your experiences.
Mm. Yeah, so yeah, my name's Carlos Medina. I'm a petroleum engineer by education and then by practice also. So I went to the University of Tulsa here locally, studied economics for a few years, worked in telecom, kind of call that my first professional experience. Got out of that kind of space and then stepped into the University of Oklahoma to do petroleum engineering or study petroleum engineering, right? Went there a few years, and that's about the time that you and I met, right?
Yes.
And graduated, went to work with a company, Marathon Oil. They hired me as a reservoir engineer, and really what that is, it's if you think about petroleum engineering as an umbrella, multiple disciplines are under that umbrella. You have drilling engineering, you have completions engineering, production engineering, facilities, and then reservoir engineering, right? So that's kind of where they hired me in reservoir engineering. Through my internships at OU, I did drilling engineering, which is another discipline under that broad petroleum engineering umbrella. Uh, and really, when I was in university and then also going through the drilling engineering internships, I really found that what I wanted to do was a bit different. Petroleum engineering, definitely, but reservoir engineering, which is that discipline that I just mentioned. So I've been doing that for the last 10 years. I've been a reservoir engineer first in Oklahoma City with Marathon. Um, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, due to the macro economy, broadly, the Saudis were oversupplying oil. So there was downward pressure on oil price, and oil price is what drives petroleum engineering careers broadly. So there was downward pressure on oil price. A lot of the companies decided to consolidate their fields into their headquarters, and that's what happened to my career in Oklahoma City. I was working in Oklahoma City for 7 years. Oversupply of oil comes about, and then I get sucked into Houston. So for the last 3 or so years, I was working in Houston as a reservoir engineer. Um, I decided to play the market not too long ago because the Saudis pumped the brakes on their oversupply of oil. There was the recovery of the COVID issue. So oil went from about $50 to $40 a barrel to $100 a barrel. Plethora of jobs came about for all petroleum engineers. Got hit up by a few recruiters. One of my friends actually called me about a position out here in Tulsa. She's also a petroleum engineer, reservoir engineer. And I decided to apply, went through the interview process and got picked up. But and really now I work with Laredo Petroleum as a advanced, or call it a official title here, it'll come to me. It's a senior staff reservoir engineer, right? And really it's just doing the same kind of work. Got more experience, got a fancier title. Not too different than what I did with Marathon, right?
Yeah,
In my career with Marathon,
was now you're senior, right?
yes,
Exactly.
staff senior. I think typically for engineers, they go from like an entry level engineer, junior engineer, something like that. An advanced engineer, right? That's kind of your second level. And then from advanced, you go to kind of a senior level engineer. And then from a senior, you go to a staff engineer. And then from staff, you go to a senior staff engineer. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now. That's my title. And then from there, you go to kind of a chief or advisor engineer, right? So for me, as I think about like progressing my own career,
Yes.
that chief engineer position really for me would happen in the next 5 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting story, Carlos. Wow, it was amazing and how you progress in your career and how you move up in your career. And I just one thing I want to say, like, have you like like mentoring a future student, like mentoring or coach somebody, and well, also like experience, have you gotten like speak publicly, how your advance in your career?
Yeah, no, on both of those points, I'll hit each one in turn. In terms of mentoring, I've been fortunate enough to do not only like very direct mentoring,
Mm-hmm.
where Marathon would, as they're hiring engineers or have interns through the summer, would give me an intern or give me a new hire engineer to kind of show them the ropes, right?
Yeah.
But in an indirect fashion throughout my career, as I've linked up with like more junior engineers or senior engineers, I both pull the younger guys with me and ask the more senior guys for advice, etc. One of the reasons I was able to get kind of this position here at Laredo Petroleum, the engineer that hit me up about the role, we had a good mentee relationship. She was just a few years behind me at the University of Oklahoma, so we connected up through there, and then thereafter worked together, and we knew each other's work ethic, and that's how she was able to kind of recommend me to her manager to say, hey, Carlos, is a decent engineer. Let's hire him, right? To your second, so that all of that, any advice I give any professional out there is not only look at the people that are junior to you, right? How can you help those folks out? But then also the senior folks, don't be shy about asking questions or favors, right? Reaching out to people, keeping an extensive network is just so critical in my career, but definitely in multiple careers, right? I imagine, like, as you think about your own MIS career, having other technical professionals like yourself, not only at the senior level to kind of pull you along, the juniors with their sharp minds can probably solve some questions in a more efficient manner than maybe some of us older guys with longer teeth, a longer tooth in the oil patch in my case. But to your second point, to your second question, talking at conferences or speaking publicly, I've had the opportunity to not only speak, for example, at Tulsa Community College to recruit some of the students there, but also in kind of a more oil and gas specific conference as I'm pitching technical ideas to other engineers, right? So what that looks like for me, I know I mentioned the Tulsa Community College speaking events to try to recruit Hispanic students to STEM majors. Um, for me as a technical professional, a petroleum engineer, speaking at the Oklahoma commissions, the
Yes.
Oklahoma groups that are pushing oil and gas agendas, that's the type of environment that I've been able to kind of speak at, right? And broadly, it's more technical, more rather than political.
No, wow, that's amazing. And like in through your experience, have you like ever like job shadow like someone?
Oh yeah. Job shadowed. I I haven't, like, in a kind of defined shadowing role, but I did, as I mentioned, I did my internships through Shell as a drilling engineer, and I'd say the internships are, you could probably say that those are shadowing events, right? Because all up until you get the internship, all you know is book knowledge, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're in an internship, you're actually like learning from senior engineers. You're asking the clarifying questions. You're trying to connect the dots between the book learning and then what actually happens in the field, right?
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's a difference. Yes, that's true. And then like through your career, as like your company, send you like they say like they sign up for a career for have like you've been sent to recruit,
Yeah.
to recruit like future students, interested in engineering career. They talk to you. Have you done that?
Yeah, and that you'll see that quite a bit as you progress your own career. I've been pulled to sit in at the hiring events at the University of Oklahoma, gone through the interview process, interviewing multiple candidates to potentially either get a full-time job with Marathon or come in as an intern, right? So yeah, for me, it's a fulfilling thing to kind of go back to the community in which contributed to my own career, right? Because I'm an OU alum, and give the students the opportunity to give their sales pitch and potentially highlight their skills when they do come in. The company Marathon Oil where I was working, highlight their skills and ultimately get a full-time offer.
Job. Yeah. And then just one last out of this interview, like for future student, will taking this class, 3111,
Yeah.
which is like it's a class like to prepare them, professionally, like finding the right job, and then also like to help them out with their skills. What would you recommend to tell them, like if they decided to pursue like petroleum engineering degree or mechanical?
Yeah, no, I would say with any technical professional line, that includes engineers, IT professionals, MIS professionals, math, anybody that's dealing with like the STEM environment. Continuing education is just so critical, because there's always a new platform to learn, a new software to learn, a new methodology to learn. And being on the cutting edge of the wave of technology is just so valuable. I think for me, in a very practical sense, after I got out of the University of Oklahoma with a highly technical degree, a highly specialized degree, engineering, I went back and got an MBA. I went back and got a professional engineering license in the state of Texas, which requires a lot of study, a lot of practical knowledge, et cetera, et cetera. And until this day, I still kind of consider, should I continue my education to stay competitive in the workforce, and then also stay competitive with the technologies that are available for other petroleum engineers, right? So that I'd say straight for any STEM professional, continuing education is just so critical.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that is true, because in my MIS degree I will do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then once I graduate, hit that be in the workforce in an IT job, I gotta be in your same shoes. Probably getting that IT certificate, but at the meantime it will require more learning, because since we're heading into like the fourth generation, the fourth industrial revolution, that everything is so high tech. Like with the push of a button, everything's on
Right.
Like now they're going maybe Star Wars world or Star Trek, bro. Either way. Yeah, no. But other than that, Carlos, I mean, we were known for each other and all that, and I would like to thank you for accepting this interview. Like I said, it was just an assignment, and then when it hit like business professional, then that's where my mind. I want to ask, honestly, and then I appreciate you for accepting this, this interview, and then also like for future students, to see, your career and then your experiences, and then like how you accomplish as a leader, but also like for me, I would say like you were kind of, my inspiration, because you as a Hispanic person, you actually, by seeing your accomplishments, through Facebook and all that, I asked myself, I want to be like my buddy Carlos, and I'm just gonna go in there, study my ass off, because technically it takes change, and then by seeing your example, why you become what you are become today, in 10 years, I want to be like somebody interview me when I'm in my professional career, you know.
That's great. And
I don't,
no question in my mind you'll get there. And really, I hope this interview helps other folks kind of in our situation, trying to get a bit ahead. Understand that this video is going to be archived with probably other technical professional videos. So yeah, great. Thank you so much for this.